page of the Daf Yomi. We're Masechet Zevachim on page number 23. Naturally, there's Daf Yomi making fantastic progress. We're continuing within regards to the topic, the realms of korbanot that we've been speaking about in the previous pages of the Daf Yomi in today's page. Now, friends, what's going on today? We learned actually back in the Mishnah, I think on page number 15, if we go all the way back, that the second parak of Masechet Zevachim, it deals with situations where there is some problem with the person who brings the sacrifice. That's what we've been talking about. Remember, we've been talking all about korbanot. People bring korbanot, sacrifice to Hashem. There were different kinds of korbanot, like the sin offering, the guilt offering, so on and so forth. There were many voluntary offerings or thanksgiving offerings also. But what if the person that brought the korban, let's say, had an issue himself with regards to it? Now, one of the examples that appears inside the Mishnah is the case of Yoshev. Now, what is Yoshev, friends? That is when the Kohen is sitting at the time that the sacrifice, the korban, is brought over there. Now, what is wrong with sitting while performing the sacrificial service? Is that problematic? Do you have to stand or not? What is the law within regards to it? Now, the great rabbi named Rava is going to quote Rav Nachman as saying that this is based on the passage. I think a passage that's featured in Sefer Devarim, chapter 18, verse number 5. It teaches over there that the Kohanim were chosen by God to stand and serve in His name. That was the terminology stating. Now we can conclude over here, let's say, that only when they are standing are they chosen as a priest, as a Kohanim. Now the Gemara is going to quote a Braita that's going to suggest that this verse would only serve as a positive commandment over here. Now the requirement to do so, that teaches that the sacrifice will be invalid if the Kohen was not standing. It's going to stem from the continuation of that specific discussion, where the need to stand is repeated, as we learn about in chapter 18, verse 7, where that need is going to be reprised, let's just say in itself. Now, the Talmud, the Gemara records that Rava asked Rav Nachman why someone who performs the sacrificial service sitting would not be liable to the death penalty, to receive a death penalty, given that based on the verse, such a person was not chosen to serve in the temple over there, and should be considered to be a zar. What is a zar? A stranger, a non-Kohen over there, whose punishment for such an act would ultimately be death, seeming so over here. Now, Rav Nachman's response is that in cases where the Torah is going to condemn people, God forbid, to death for such infractions, say for example a Kohen, a priest, who serves without proper priestly clothing, it states that the punishment clearly, and we cannot derive a similar punishment for this case. And Rashi is going to weigh in, and it appears to understand this discussion, this conversation, according to its simple meaning, that there is an assumption that someone who is sitting should literally be considered to be a non-Kohen over here, and liable, God forbid, for ultimate penalty over here. Other Rishonim are going to reject this possibility of the death penalty over here. They suggest that it is clear that such activity would only affect the sacrificial service, the korban itself, but not the Kohen, the priest himself. And that Rava's question was whether we could derive appropriateness of, God forbid, a death penalty from similar cases like that of Kohen who serves without the proper Kohen clothing, which you've got to have. We obviously learned more in detail about this on page number 17 over here. We know that the Kohen Gadol in general would wear 8 different vestments, and the regular Kohen would wear 4 different vestments. Naturally, that's what we've learned about previously over here. So very, very interesting use notes from Rabbi Adin Steinsaltz. On the Orthodox Union website, there's an excellent catalogue of his daily Daf Yomi tidbits, which we learn every single day, and we try and use it and utilize it to the best of the degrees. Now, friends, we're a community here. We are learning every single day a tidbit from the daily page of Daf Yomi, from Talmud respectively. We've been doing this now for as many as 3.5 years, which is very, very impressive at the moment, which is absolutely phenomenal. 3.5 years. We're going in. We started on Masechet Ketubot, I think it was back in May 2022, and we initially started doing maybe 1 or 2 videos a week. on the daily Talmud, but then shortly afterwards we started daily tidbit, really pretty much at the start of Masechet Nedarim it was, and we've been going from strength to strength now. So we've covered already on this series possibly as close to about more than 1,000 pages of Daf Yomi tidbits, which is a phenomenal achievement. So if anyone's interested in watching these, please share these videos also to other people. Now, obviously being in Zevachim, page 23, we've already covered 22 pages already. And Zevachim is talking, we've been talking all about different korbanot that come back, different sacrifices that we have to give, someone might have to give for various different reasons in of itself. So we've been discussing and learning and exploring within regards to that. We've been building today's one on previous Mishnah, I think on page number 15, which we learned about just over a week ago. So we're trying to grapple on all those different things. Now, we don't just record videos on daily Daf Yomi tidbits here inside this channel. We are also recording videos with great Jewish personalities of modern day. At the moment, they give a burst of inspiration for a minute or two every single day we have. Also in this series, we record historical biography videos on great rabbis of yesteryear. We've already recorded about nearly 1,300 great Chachamim from especially the Ottoman countries, from the North African countries, Asian countries, respectively. So that's another reason. We're exploring different yeshivot also that were in these countries, these locales also. What were the famous synagogues in these places? That's another thing that we are trying to explore at the moment. And also on this channel, we record tours all over Israel. We try and go around Jerusalem, historical places, Bet Shemesh, and various other cities we've been to, exploring the archaeology and the culture, the Jewish culture, and so on and so forth. So many reasons to explore the channel in itself. We also record a weekly Parsha video on the weekly Torah portion, and also for Hebrew months. And also we speak about current events that take place, different important current events, and we look at it through a Torah point of view, a lens through the Bible. Let's just say, it's also very important. So, friends, we're speaking about today, page 23 of Masechet Zevachim. So please join and take care. And Shavuot Tov and Brach, we just came out, Parshat Vayelech. Interesting enough, we're going to be in Parshat, we're going to be in Sukkot, just time recording. I believe it's going to be only in 2 nights' time. So take care and Shavuot Tov. Thank you.